Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the NASSCOM Immersive Series. I'm Karan Kamal, co-founder of Future Factor 360, moderating the session this morning. Today's session is titled Learning from the Success Journeys of Indian Innovation Pioneers. Our objective of this session is to showcase the innovations of the winners of the NASSCOM Quarterly Awards, understand some of the challenges that they faced in their journey, and also understand some of the best practices that they implemented in bringing these innovations to life. Today, we have a very illustrious panel, a panel that has actually worked hands-on on some of these innovations. I have with me Murali Kodandapani, Venugopal Padmanabhan, Sivakumar Selva Ganapati. I will have each one of them introduce themselves, starting from Murali Kodandapani. Murali, over to you for a quick introduction about yourself.
Hello, hi everyone. From Micron Operations India Private Limited, leading the product development, and I've been contributing and playing a significant role in the product development for about more than a couple of decades. I'm excited to present the product development that we have in Micron from LPDDR4 and NVMe SSD 2550 NVMe SSD. Micron has been the pioneer in NAND and DRAM technologies and has been leading front in providing solutions to client, consumer, enterprise, automotive, and of course to the mobile technologies. So playing a significant part in memory and storage solutions to all the compute platform. I'm excited to speak in this immersive series. Thanks joining and hearing us through our innovation and the products that we have displayed for NASSCOM. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Murali. Venu, over to you for a quick introduction.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, NASSCOM, for organizing this. I've been in aviation industry for more than 30 years now. And at Collins, we have a lot of innovation initiatives. And I focus on bringing them to a go-to-market product, leading a team, helping them out with the initial architecture, and finding out what is required by the industry. So at Collins, we have a very organized way of filing patents, recognizing innovations. We file a minimum of 2,000 patents every year. And in 2022, Raytheon Technologies holds a record of filing max number of patents in the year. And from India, we file about 80 to 100 patents every year. And we have many trade secrets. More than 150 of our innovations have gone to products and technologies. I'll talk about it more during the later sessions. Yeah, over to you, Karan.
Thank you so much, Venu. Siva, over to you for a quick introduction.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. This is Sivakumar from Johnson Controls. Thank you, NASSCOM, first of all, for giving us the platform to share our thoughts on our innovation journey. I lead the overall India product engineering team within Johnson Controls, particularly on the OpenBlue side of it. We focus on products and solutions for sustainability, comfort, safety, and security in the smart building space. And today, I'm glad to talk about one of our offerings called Unified Operations Center. And our innovation journey has been not only for global innovation, but innovate from India for the globe as well. So in the last 2 to 3 years from India, we have around a few hundred patents and a couple of patent granted as well, and a few hundred disclosures. Over to you, Karan.
Thank you so much, Siva. I would like to thank all the audience who have joined us this morning. And just to get a pulse check of the audience, we have a quick audience poll. Avinash, if we could bring up the audience poll. We have a few questions, trying to understand where you stand in terms of your own respective innovation journeys, because this will also help us drive the context of the conversation with our panelists. So very first question is, how big a priority is innovation in the context of your respective organization? What kind of innovations is your organization focused on? And what's the current focus of innovation? Are you looking at something disruptive, something incremental, or both? So I would request the audience to please fill in their responses, and then we can see where we stand in terms of getting started with today's discussion. Let's give it 30 seconds, and then we can display the results, Avinash. All right, do we have the results? Okay, so we have a very interesting response. I don't think it's out of what is obvious. I think innovation is a priority for a lot of you. 88% say that it's a big priority. A lot of you are focused on product innovation more than on process innovation. And it's interesting also that you're looking at both disruptive, incremental innovations as a way forward. So let's begin our discussion today with our panelists. I'll start again with Murli this time. So Murli, can you give us an overview of how the product idea originated? What was the problem statement that you were looking to address? What was the whole objective of this innovation that was enabled by your team and, of course, by Micron?
Yeah, thanks, Karan. So the NAND and DRAM has been the pioneering building blocks for Micron. And if you look at the next generation requirements, like you need high performance, low power. This is the primary requirement, and you want the user experience for the drive to utilize in your compute platform. Say you're using your laptops, you got to have a good user experience. But on the other side, you need to have a lower cost, higher performance, and lower power consumption. So this is the problem statement that we had for the compute platform. That's how we came back with the one solution, the 2550 NVMe SSD, which is catering to all the problem state, addressing all the problem statements. On the other side, we had the automotive industry ticking high, and you need to have a very low power, compliant to the automotive spec. You need to have a product. And the team came back with the innovative power saving circuitry, which is proprietary to the Micron. And that came back with a very good innovative solution addressing the automotive world. So two important fragments of our deployment scenarios. One is the compute world, and another is automotive. So we got a twofold solution, striving across with engineering innovation and driving towards a product solution. So that is how we act with this innovative product for the compute platforms and also for the automotive world. Pretty excited and successfully delivered, and now it is into high volume manufacturing. You're on mute, Karan.
As we go through this conversation, Murli, we will hear more about the innovation, more about the journey, etc. But moving on to Venu, we had Murli talk about something in the semiconductor space, and then you are from the aerospace segment, Venu. Again, the approach to innovation, the life cycles of products are very different. So maybe you can talk about the genesis of the innovation that you worked on. What were its objectives? What was the larger problem statement that you were trying to address?
Yeah, thanks, Karan. So aviation, if you know, is a innovator's heaven. Actually, there are multiple hundreds or thousands of problems which everybody can take a pie and solve. So this particular product which we are talking about today, this idea came out of an innovation workshop. We have this yearly innovation workshops in our organization, which runs for a month, and teams are told to submit their ideas, and the selected ones are presented on an innovation day, which is a big event. There they showcase a prototype or the idea, and it is the visitors include leaders across the world. If they like the idea to be productized, if they feel meaning to it in the industry, we take it up as a product. So this is one of the ideas which came up from the India team. Then the idea was whether tracking assets at an airport makes sense, generates a lot of data. So our challenge was to make it into a product. There were too many challenges. Innovation was much easier, I would think, looking back. Innovation idea was a simple one, but making it a product had a lot of challenges. The Internet of Things, the hardware, the backbone, were all evolving at that time. Everybody had heard about IoT. Everybody believed in it, but nobody had the actual sensors or technology. I mean, it was still evolving. And we had to find out something which was more, adaptable by the airports. GSM-based tracking was all over there, but that is not suitable for an airport-like scenario, where you cannot just go in and deploy things. Next day, you can go and modify things. You cannot get that kind of an access at an airport. And we had to think of a lot of other stuff, which will not disturb the infrastructure at the airport, which will not give them too many, GSM handling charges for thousands of assets out there. And to make value, what else we need to add? So our approach was go to a customer first, ask them the questions the customer has got. So I always tell my teams, you may have an idea about tungsten diamond tip drill, which can change colors or solar powered or whatnot. Finally, the customer needs a 5 mm hole. So need of the customer is more important. Try to solve that first and then add fancy to your solution. Software engineers can come out with fancy things, but what the customer needs at the airport or aviation industry asset is important. So that is our approach to innovation. And finally, thanks to everyone in the team industry, it has come out as a successful product. And thanks to NASSCOM for recognizing that.
Thank you so much, Venu. Moving on to you, Siva. So it's a very interesting innovation, and it was an innovation deployed for a marquee event of sorts. So tell us more about how did it all start?
Yeah. Thanks, Karan. Thanks, Murli and Venu, for sharing your story. So our experience is particularly for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, which was held in Doha, Qatar. So the genesis of this idea was the Supreme Committee of Qatar. They laid out a clear plan that it's a marquee, highly prestigious, highly visible global event. And the event across the 8 stadiums have to be executed seamlessly, particularly considering the security, safety, and comfort aspect of all the spectators and the sports persons and the organizers or whatnot. Right, so that's how it started, and our specific focus in this particular journey was due to the regulation of that particular country. The contract has to be awarded to a local large multi-systems integrator, right? And then they had to partner with a hyperscaler and then players like Johnson Controls, particularly in the OT space. So our first, the way we wanted to focus is in a multi-stakeholder environment, how do we really come out with innovation through collaboration for a very, very high visible marquee event? So that's how it started. And then we really looked at what are each of our strengths. So and then we focused on OT operational technology side, leveraging industrial IoT sensors, controllers, and at the same time, edge and digital twin kind of capabilities. And then the hyperscaler leveraged their IT expertise. And then finally, the large system integrator, they really looked at the overall end-to-end solution and finally made this grand event, making it possible. So that's how we got started. But one of the key tenets of this solution is how do we work in an environment where there's nothing black and white, it's a shade of gray. Number two, in a multi-party innovation context, who owns the IP? How do we deal with it? And at the end of the day, I mean, the tournament has to be successful, right? The event has to be successful. We have several innovation measures, what are all the KPIs, etc. But beyond all this, the spirit of that sport event matters. So that's how we started off our journey, and then we can discuss more details in the upcoming session. Over to you, Karan.
Thank you so much, Siva. Moving on, and again, I'll put this question forward to you, Siva, is, of course, you spoke about how the genesis of this innovation happened, but internally, from Johnson Controls standpoint, what did it entail to get started with this journey? Because you've got to have the right team, right kind of ingredients, etc. And I have another question coming in from the audience, which says, how did you get a context and insight into the customer pain points and probable gain points as well in terms of getting started with this journey?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a couple of things. So number one, internally, first, we have to have the courage to even take this up, right? So some amount of intelligent risk-taking had to happen. And that starts from the top, right? So we had to be with our team to say, yes, we are in it. There could be some failure, but at the end of the day, we are going to look at the overall FIFA World Cup as an event and how do we go about it, right? So it starts with that courage to even take that such complex, ambiguous kind of a charter to start with. So that's number one. Number two, highly distributed teams. And as most of you would know, that because of the country being small and the density of inflow of tourists was huge at that point in time, even to get visa to enter to meet the customers was a constraint, right? So there we had to leverage our remote working norms, etc. And at the same time, leverage the partnership. So we had to look at technology partnerships and then see how do we leverage each other's strength and then really work with the organizing committee of FIFA to really look at it, which piece who is going to be done by what. And our focus has been really on the security aspect of it so that we efficiently monitor all kind of equipments, not only monitor, but also command and control and ensure that during the event is happening, how do we make it more secure? And even when the stadiums are idle, how do we still make it secure? All coming in nicely, seamlessly integrating with their overall command center. So the organizing committee called it as Connected Stadium, and we played a vital part of it, but we are just only one cog into the multiple wheel, right? So it takes two to tango. Here it took three parties to come together and then provide that seamless end-to-end solution, not just once, but during the course of the event, across 8 stadiums with multiple points to monitor, leveraging the technology stack, right from hardware, firmware, and software as well.
Murli, moving on to you, right? Semiconductor is something that is experiencing an uptick in India. And to go and, talk to the headquarters and say that, hey, here is something that India can deliver is something which I would say is audacious. But how did you go about making a case for yourself to say that, look, this is something that we can deliver from India, deliver successfully? And Siva also, of course, alluded to the fact that it is a courageous journey, right? So how was it from your perspective in terms of getting started? building that confidence with the HQ? And also, of course, what did it take for you to build the right kind of teams to work on this innovation?
Yeah. Thanks, Karan. The insight about the Indian talent and what we need to deliver has always been a challenge. So it undergoes one is first is seeding. It's a fairly new organization, about a 4.5 years old organization. Now, initially it will be like more of a ramp up phase where we need to get approving to the product headquarters and the organization which should have the business unit responsible for delivering the product. So first will be a proving phase, and then it will be an end-to-end delivery phase. So we had initial projects that would come across, would identified as a proving phase. That is where we go and hunt for the mapping talent that is available in India, understanding the requirements, understanding the business needs, map the skill set and talent. And then we get on to after the proving phase, we get into the end-to-end product ownership phase where we go and deliver the product. Now, DRAM as such, the skill set does not exist in India, meaning this is the first organization where, in fact, DRAM, the team has delivered. So you got to have an equivalent skill set available. And SSD development and the NAND technology, though existing teams were available, the high-speed product integration skill set was a lack. So we got to have an equivalent skill set match that we need to bring across, right from probably a couple of years experience till probably a couple of decade experience workforce to come coordinate, get the product delivered. Now, this is a challenge, right? So you will have imbalance in the thought process, imbalance in the way the engineering workforce will have the solution towards the problem. Rather than it become an advantage to us, they had some out-of-box thinking in terms of solving the low power and proprietary circuitry that we need to bring on. So it was a challenge. All the challenges was converted to an opportunity that you can take and map and deliver the product that is required for the organization. The one other key thing is when we had this journey, right, the COVID had a pretty significant impact to the workforce operation. And in spite of all those challenges, the team owned it and delivered it and got into high volume manufacturing. So one is the skill set mapping. So mid-level management did a fantastic job. And we had a smart leaders working with the headquarters, getting them the right connect and establishing the skill set mapping, what is capable in India, and under the leadership of the executives and also the India leadership teams that we have under Anand. We had a pretty much encouragement and also addressing all the challenges that went along to form this ad hoc team and finally delivered an excellent product, both at the DRAM as well as for the NAND. Current. Yeah, it was an exciting journey.
Thank you so much, Murli. Venu, over to you. Again, the question is around how did you get started? And more importantly, going back to the question that I asked Siva as well, how could you as a GCC get enabled with the customer context, right? So your thoughts on that, Venu?
Yeah, great inputs, Shiva and Murli. I had similar kind of things to face when I was coming out with this product. On one side, I had the Collins Raytheon management whom I had to convince that yes, the India team can deliver, which has never happened before. This is the first product we delivered from India. Convincing them and then convincing a customer who's again very tricky. The airports business, they don't want anything to be disturbed during the process of development. It is very security intensive, safety intensive. Educate the customer what this is. I mean, they face hundreds of sellers like us coming and saying we have the moon or whatever. Now, telling them this is a product, and the best approach I found was take them along the journey. educate them what the product is, give them the confidence that this is not going to disturb any of your thing, it is only going to improve. And then, like I always believe, an innovation idea, first of all, go and explain to your grandmother. So she will ask you the basic questions, and that will clarify a lot of your own thoughts, whether you are convinced with the idea. So that way, explain to a customer a new product, this is what it is, this is what it will do for you. So we had ATC as one of our stakeholders, we had airport operations, then the GSC handlers. To each one of them, this product means a different value. For GSC handlers, it is CO2 emission reduction, idling time reduction, safety, accidents. For operations, it is increasing the turnaround time of aircraft at the airports. For airlines, also similar thing. For ATC, it is a standby option to the costly radar-based systems. How do they get a predictive time of arrival of an aircraft without the radar data? So we had to explain each piece of the puzzle to them, and parallelly keep struggling with our own team, saying that we can do it. I even had problems with our own our own finance teams in India asking me, to clear this, I need the name of a US manager. And I had to tell them there is no US manager here in this product. It is we who are doing it. So it has been interesting and challenging. So like I said, more than the innovation idea, it was a journey which was more challenging. So always take the customer along, ask them basic questions. Where are your problems? What are your pain points? They will give you very simple answers, which you need to convert to technology. So taking them along has been a great experience for me. Learning from them, you can learn from a ground-based worker who will give you the real problem he is facing. Instead of fancy graphs and charts, he will give you the real problem statement. So it is better to learn from the real user on ground.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I have a follow-up question for you, right? So of course, getting an innovation kickstarted is a critical phase of the innovation journey, but sustaining that momentum is as important. So typically what we have seen in most organizations are that there is an innovation and there is a purgatory of innovation, right? A graveyard of innovations, because it did not get the right kind of management backing, it did not get the customer backing, or maybe the business case with which it was initiated was not being fulfilled. So from your perspective, how did you sustain the journey and the momentum associated with this innovation to successfully deliver it?
Yeah, got your question. So I think an innovator has to be a bit of storyteller as well. You need to tell your management as well as your customers what is the big picture, the bigger picture. Where are we? This is what you're seeing, but what is in it for you? So you need to paint them a longer, path down the line. 3 years, 4 years from now, where is the product going to be? What are the features we are going to add to it? And what it means to the aviation industry and to the business. We are in airports and aviation business. So where this aligns with other products we are offering, how do we package it along with other products? Will it make it like 1 + 1 greater than 2 kind of equations? So that is a picture you need to paint to your management as well, so that they are looking at the Collins brand. The product should not be anything less than the Collins brand standards we maintain. Plus, it should add value to the portfolio we are dealing with. So that has been my approach, and I would say it has been successful.
Wonderful. So, Siva, over to you. What were the challenges that you faced in terms of sustaining this momentum? Right. Of course, you spoke about the fact that there was a lot of confidence infused at the beginning of the journey. Now, how was this confidence sustained?
Yeah. So I'll answer this in two parts. One specifically to this solution, and two on a broader organization perspective. So we faced a number of challenges. I mean, there's no dearth of challenges at all, right? So how do you motivate a distributed team which you don't even see day to day and work with your partners, etc.? I think we had the common goal, right? Saying that, hey, this is a big event, FIFA World Cup. How do we ensure, irrespective of whether it's the government, whether it's the hyperscaler or us or the system integrator or whatnot, at the end of the day, the event have to be successful, right? So that mindset, it took a while, it took few weeks to say, because normally we play by roles and responsibilities, right? So within a company, oh, I'm a developer, I'm a tester, or I'm product management, engineering, etc. But here we had to play kind of an entrepreneur kind of role, so that there was a shade of gray. Once we got the intent right in our heads, and then it was, I mean, day, nights, etc. I mean, it did not matter. I mean, it was literally a virtual one team approach. And then that's how we were able to get to the, I mean, a final day, once the finale was over, award ceremony is over, and then we all celebrated virtually along with the other partners. This is particularly on this solution perspective. From an overall organization perspective, how do we sustain it? In fact, our story has been, I mean, I know headquarters has different connotations. One, where the CEO sit, where the legal headquarters is. But in terms of knowledge headquarters, from an innovation perspective, it all started from India. I think our innovation ideas has been a decade old, if you will. And some of these innovation processes, etc., we took from India to the globe. So we have an event called Tech Challenge, like many other companies do in different terms. So what we were able to do is, what the innovators really want is, at the end of the day, what is the benefit for them, also for that idea. So we didn't want to just create an idea and just sleep after the event, but we took those ideas, funneled it over, reviewed it with the cross-functional team, and then wherever there is a market backing, we internally funded it. And some of the products which is down in the market in the software was originally ideated and seeded and developed from India. So because of that recognition, so we can always have, I mean, we have other recognition and reward mechanism, but the innovators feel a sense of accomplishment when their idea is nurtured and come into being into the market. So through those means, we were able to sustain it so far.
Perfect. Thanks, Siva. And I would probably, in the subsequent part of the discussion, I would like to understand more about this innovation culture. It's in many ways, it's the tail that wags the dog, where you're talking about, India-centered driving a lot of these innovations from a global standpoint. So, Murthy, coming to you on this very topic, Siva spoke about the fact that mindset is an extremely important element in driving some of these innovation. And we have a question from one of the audience members who says, how do we really drive this innovation mindset with Indian engineers, especially at the junior level? Any thoughts on that? How is it that you were able to drive this mindset in the context of the innovation that you delivered for the organization?
Yeah, I am really thankful to Siva. It was right about the mindset. It's very, very, very important. Global mindset and thinking, very critical ingredient for the innovation. So, Karan, to your question, right? Firstly, driving through and making innovation successful is a journey. Now, how do you match this with the engineers' thinking? How do you match that with the engineers' way of solving the problems, right? Those are the hotspots for innovation. Now, how do you get this sustained is three phases. One is you need to marry all the career ladder that we have, right? From junior engineer to senior engineers or to the architects. You need to match them to the roadmap. You got to have a sustained pipeline roadmap. That's fixed. That's the baseline for you. Now, those are the first thing is now the roadmap is available. Now you should create an urge with the team Okay, now you got a roadmap, you got a product to deliver. Now you got challenges. Those are the ingredients for the hotspots to get activated. That's the first thing. Second thing is the new domains get generated, right? We never thought that integral calculus or numerical methods was driving the entire world crazy like what we are doing today, right? So these are some of the new opportunities. So could be mobility or disruptive technologies that are coming in. You got to closely monitor that and match your engineering solution to the opportunities. Third phase is all the problem solving under the peer reviews, meaning the products that we have got. You got to have the Chanakyan principles of talking and getting the reviews. Challenge the status quo, right? You kind of get biased with your solution. Once you get into the review, you get to your feedback. Once you're offensive, then you are kind of shielded from innovation. Don't get offensive, get the feedback, counter that with a proper innovative solution. You have the third phase getting cleared up. Now get these three right from grassroots till the top ladder in your organization. We have seen wonders happening here. So the culture, what we need to address this on sustainability, very important, right? Unless a product is there, you're not going to have revenues. Unless revenues are not there, you're not going to fund the technology. So it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle for you, right? So you got to have products. To get the products, you got to have innovative solution. You got to have innovative solution, you need to have technology. To have the technology sustain, you need to have a clear roadmap. So roadmap is your roots, and it is going to give you flowers and fruits, whatnot, and enjoy the laurels that it would deliver for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your insights there, Murli. So Venu, I'll come to you now, which is, while this innovation is something that your organization worked on, what really has been the impact of this innovation to your customer, and what has it done to Collins Aerospace as a larger entity? What has it done to the GCC or the tech center of Collins Aerospace? How is this whole journey with this particular innovation helped you and your customer and your HQ?
Yeah, I got your questions, Karan. But before that, just to add on to the innovation culture at an organization, just a few points. Like, you cannot put on an innovator's cap one day and say, okay, today is my innovation day. Or your leaders will say, okay, this month I need 10 kg of innovation. It doesn't happen like that. You need to tell your youngsters what is the need of the industry. If I call all of them and say 1 second of delay at an airport costs $40 to an airline globally, then they understand, okay. So that is the need of my solutions to bring it, or the delays down. Where can I think about it? And you also need to have an innovator is not a happy person always. He is a troubled mind. Only then the ideas will come to him. A happy person accepts status quo. Okay, everything is fine. Now, a troubled mind sees problems. Okay, why is it like this? Should I take a step back and think, can't it be done in another way? So that is the way the youngster should be brought in and said, okay, here are the problems of the industry. Have a problem statement bucket in your organization, whether it is domain-wise or national level as well. Bodies like NASSCOM can take it up. Here is a bucket of problems. Anybody wants to pick up, solve it, great. Okay, coming to your question about what is this innovation has brought into Collins or the India entity. First one is the confidence in the India team. Now, next time I approach the global teams or the enterprise level, this is a working example of what we can deliver with 100% ownership, IP, and they can see, and in fact, I'm proud to say we recently responded to a query from FAA from our solution. This is a made in India solution to be deployed in US. So that is a confidence the industry has got over the solution. So anything we propose from now on, somebody will look at it seriously. And from the day one. So that is what is brought in. We have a lot of customers who are coming in within India and abroad because of the uniqueness of the solution. Unfortunately, we don't have much time. Otherwise, I would have presented you how the solution works. So anytime anybody in the group or panel, anyone wants to have a demo, we'll be happy to showcase that to you.
Perfect. Over to you, Siva, in terms of what has it done to Johnson Controls? Of course, as we all discussed, it's a large-scale marquee event, the best visibility that you can ever get. But something more that you can add in terms of the mind share that it may have created for Johnson Controls globally as an organization with other customers, and maybe Johnson Controls India itself.
Yeah. So definitely one of the key thing what made to us is, in addition to the monetary value, right? So I think one of the key thing is, how do we exhibit the entrepreneurial mindset within the company internally, and then still ensure things get done until we see the entire solution working in front of our eyes, right? So not just saying, but also doing, right? So this say, do, commitment. So that really helped us to say, yes, we can do it, and we did it. So that's number one. Number two, also in the marketplace, how can this multi-party innovation, collaboration can still come together and make things work for a better cause for the society? I think this is a reference template which any industry can really look into when there are multiple parties involved. We call it as open innovation. Of course, there will be certain clear segregation of who owns IP, etc. It's still doable in a multi-stakeholder environment. This not only for Johnson Controls, but also for the industry, it becomes a template. How do we partner and then promote innovation? Number three is also building this 360-degree connections with the parties. So some areas we could be a customer, in some other areas the other partners could be a customer. And how do we generate a holistic view and value based upon our brand and the themes? So these are the few things which were really on top of our mind, particularly based upon this particular solution. Particularly for India, as I told you, it's a cycle, right? So we went through first cycle of innovation last decade, and now we are getting to another level of maturity, really looking at, yes, technological innovation is fine, but now how do we focus on market-backed technology innovation, right? Is there an economic proposition to it, right? So as technologists, we are also making them think the economic value of it. So that's the second level of maturity we are getting into. So not only sake of innovation for technology, but solving what cost and how it impacts the shareholders and stakeholders of the community.
Murli, over to you to highlight how it benefited. This is definitely a first of its kind from India Center, first of its kind for a lot of other, from the perspective of some of your peers as well. So, but maybe you could throw some more light on how it helped in the positioning of the India Center, how it probably even helped your end customers.
Yeah, thanks, Karan. Of course, the products, once it is successful, the journey in which it gets approved, and then once it is actually successful is when the actual effect is realized, right? When it gets into high volume manufacturing is the actual revenues that get into the organization. So both the products, 2550 NVMe SSD, had a very good performance, compelling performance, about 25% more than the previous generation, about 15% lower power, and user experience gets improved, which means the benchmarks of the drive has significantly improved. There's the engineering rewards for this particular product. Now, how this is tied up to the business value, and how it is tied up to the how to increase the share of the organization was the first outcome of this particular innovation. The second is a very significant part in the automotive domain, LPDDR4, a product now that is developed and released to the mass manufacturing. So it is going to have a long sustained duration, meaning you're going to have the mass production for this one qualified product in automotive will have a long lifetime of its consumption. Now we are seeing that it is striving towards till 2030. You're going to have the same product getting utilized across the demand that we see in the automotive industry. So a novel product and a very automotive compliant product that is getting delivered, both have got a lot of business value. Now, this business value, how does it translate, and the effect of it is realized is through the peer reviews. So the peer reviews that we got on these products, it's phenomenal. We got the Creekstone SST reviews, we got the Tom's Hardware, we got several individual entities reviewing the product and saying that this is one of the best product that we got in the segment. So when you have the reviews, you will have the clear attached to the OEMs. The actual equipment manufacturers, once you get qualified, then you have a sustained output to your business. So this is a significant output that we have generated from Indian operations, and also completely end-to-end solution being owned by the engineering workforce delivered from India. Now, this is a good news, and it is a good outcome, but it's also increasing the expectation now. Now that you delivered this, you got to deliver more than this, right? So you got to have a more innovative solution. More opportunities need to get converted to the product. That's the encouragement that we will be sorting out. So the outcome has been phenomenal. The impact has been significant. Product delivered, engineering workforce significantly contributed at all the eventualities, taking care of all the challenges. So it's a business success, revenue success, and also engineering success, right from the product leadership for both the products delivered from India.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Murli. I have a couple of audience questions coming in. So did any of you leverage the external SMEs to look at this or to build this innovation as a part of your respective organization? And do you see, and what are the models and what's the value that you've seen from that external participation?
Yeah, it has been significant, Karan. You know, okay, 50 external SMEs, we usually treat that as not operating from India. Same from Micron, you have the reviewers right from US or from Japan or from Italy. We have a significant SMEs from the other operations of Micron. We did have peer reviews.
What about outside of Micron itself? Were you able to tap from an India center standpoint? Were you able to tap into some of the external SMEs? Even, of course, the confidentiality of the initiative. So how was something of that kind involved?
Only contractual. At the peak workload, we used to get the contractual staff supporting it. Because of the confidentiality constraints, we didn't have that the innovative solution getting leveraged from an external SME outside of Micron. Usually, we don't venture into innovation getting outsourced or getting an external entity participating on it. So it will be because it will have some complications, right? So we don't engage in that. But external to Micron India, we did have the reviews, and that's where that were quite effective for us.
Yeah, I can take that up, Karan, just quick 20 seconds. So in our scenario, as I mentioned earlier, so we leverage the ecosystem, maybe a big player, small player, or whatnot. So what we do is first we take help of our legal experts, our intellectual property team, and our procurement team to really vet which party has the IP ownership I think it all revolves around where the intellectual property lies. As part of the MSA, if we get that ironed out, it will take some time. It won't be quick as we think. Once we get that ironed out, then the contractual process can take, and then we should be able to do. There are a couple of models. One, I mean, time and metal model. Hey, come, you do this specific task and move. And second one is more strategic, looking at outcome-based model. Hey, this is the problem statement, this is the work stream, you own it and you deliver it to us so that we integrate it. Third, much more at a higher level where we have CXO level connection and then do co-invest kind of a model. So those are the different models evolving, and more we are seeing such a co-innovation model are coming, at least in the industrial space.
Another question that we had from the audience was this initiative done as a part of, let's say, the CTO organization? Was it done as a part of the business itself? So where did these initiatives for your respective organization champion? Where were these championed from? Which part of the organization?
For us, it was a storage business unit and automotive business unit. We have a separate business unit. We were, as I said, we matched it to the roadmap. And then that is how, at least in Micron, we got both the products get going. So it was driven and funded by the business units.
Perfect.
Yeah, in our case, I mean, the entire ideation and innovation process and orchestrating everything is owned by the CTO organization. But once it comes from ideation to proof of concept to really getting funded through a new product introduction or whatnot, so that has to be backed by the business and funded by the business. So well, at least in our case, what we wanted to do and what we have slowly matured over a period of time is not innovation for the sake of innovation, and then after that's done, it's sitting idle in a shelf, but it has to be linked to the business strategy, the roadmap, etc., so that there is economic value to the company and to the shareholders. So definitely, the process is owned by the CTO organization in our case, but the funding actually comes from the business so that there's equal skin in the game.
Perfect. So to wrap up the conversation, this is one of the questions that I had, and also a question coming in from the audience. I'll start with you, Venu. You mentioned about the fact that innovation is not something where you put on a hat one fine day and deliver something. It needs to be institutionalized. It needs to be ingrained within the organization. So what is it that Collins Aerospace has done as an organization to foster and scale these innovations?
Yeah, thanks, Karen. So like I mentioned earlier, we have a particular team or a group which focuses on innovation, where we guide them about, we review them, a panel, depending upon the domain, wherever it is coming from. We suggest, corrections or, modifications to that particular idea. And to make sure it doesn't work in silos, the idea is shared by others, whether if someone else is working on something similar, or there are parts of a puzzle which they can solve, the whole thing becomes a solution. So we help them mature it, and bring it onto what do you call it? If it is a trade secret or something, it goes into our company file, for later use. But if it is an innovation which can hit the market, we take it up to the concerned BUs working on different domains and get it funded, come out with a solution. And that is how and of course, we need to identify the right team to do a POC. We have been lucky this time. We had the right people, but initially when you approach with an idea, we are given, whoever is spare, take him and utilize him for 10% or 20%. But now from India, and this is from the India perspective, we have the confidence now, we have delivered. Now I can ask for a better team next time. So give the innovators that confidence that your idea will not be shot down just like that. Get it reviewed by multiple people instead of a single person shooting it down. the initial stage, giving them the confidence that if not here, it has got application elsewhere. So give them that idea and recognize them at the suitable platforms, encourage them. So like I said, ideas can come at any time, not during your working hours. I get the best of my ideas in the evening when I'm on a liquid diet. So, so it happens, encourage them throughout the day. Yeah.
Siva, over to you. Maybe if you can share your thoughts in about a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in our case, first, so what we are seeing is a demographic shift in our organization, right? So we have very experienced people, core engineering, and then we have Gen X, Gen Yers, and then now we have Gen Zers coming in, right? And naturally, the Gen Zers' tendency is to challenge the status quo, right? If we say why, they ask why not. And if we say why not, they ask why, right? So in order to promote innovation, I think some amount of tolerance is required and patience is required. The cultural shift is not going to happen immediately. That's number one. Number two, make a conducive work ambience to fail fast, right? This is not just yet another terminology or gyan which I'm giving, but how do we come out with real small incentives to say, hey, have you experimented it? It's okay if you fail as long as it's not expensive, right? We need to put certain guardrails. And it cannot be a so-called top-down management push. In order to have a sustainable innovation, it has to be a pull. And for that, we need to make this more fun-oriented, right? We call it a hackathon or makeathon or whatever we call, whichever industry we are in. So we need to enable those kind of things, and then I'm sure the innovation is going to flourish. That's what I'm personally seeing across industries, across companies.
Perfect. Murli?
Yeah, so firstly, about the organization structure that enabled us, we have separate technical ladder and management ladder. So there is a focused technical ladder and the management ladder with goals and a target towards their deliverables. When you have a technical ladder being prioritized, so naturally their maturity level and the deliveries that are more targeted towards technical aspects would improve. That's the first ecosystem that we have in the organization that is enabling. The second thing is we have a lot of seminars, a lot of symposiums, a lot of workshops that are widely encouraged. And now when you have all of these identified, you match that to the business and monetize it. That is where the first level of culture flourishes. The second thing is you got to have a lot of reviews. You would have seen multiple times I spoke about the reviews and peer reviews and also the way the activities are getting reviewed. So the reviews are going to be very critical, and those are the turning points for a lot of innovation converting into the actual value add to your product. Third and last thing that I wanted to tell is this is the era of system. The entire system is what the industry is looking for. You got to come away from the building block thinking to the system thinking. So you got to have systems thinking so that you have a holistic, broader outlook on the problem and also towards a solution. Then it gets translated to your particular module or subsystem, whether it is ASIC, whether it is firmware, whether it is hardware, it gets percolated towards in that segment. So the need for system thinking has to be seeded right from the grassroots in this era. And that's what we are seeing that has resulted in pretty good results. And this phases that you try to take through organization ecosystem, the opportunities to demonstrate your innovation, and the actually looking into the way of working, right? Way of working from, like Siva said, you have generation gaps coming across, and you sweep through the floor, you're going to have at least 3 to 4 generations sweeping in the same project. So it's going to be a challenge, but this you're going to tie all these things together to with a thorough mindset, and also impart system thinking in your engineering solution. I think that culture that we have got in Micron is really yielding us results here. So I would say system thinking overall is going to be the primary motive to all your innovation culture in the organization.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Murli, for these insights, and thank you, Venu and Siva. We are at the top of the hour, but I think we had a fantastic dialogue on this topic. It was very insightful for me. I'm sure it was very insightful for the audience. In fact, just an info to the audience, we have a part 2 of this session tomorrow, where we are going to be listening in from the perspectives of engineering service providers, just as we had the GCC's talk today. I would request the audience to please, drop in your thoughts on this session. You can drop in your thoughts in terms of how we can enhance it, maybe questions that you would like for us to ask in these sessions. And more importantly, Avinash will also share with you a poll. We need to answer that poll before we wrap up this session, which you can see it on your screen at this juncture. So please, share your thoughts on that, because it's important for us to know how valuable the session was, what were some of the learnings for each one of you from it. So that's important for us. And again, I would like to thank each one of you, unless you have some final thoughts, Siva, Venu, and Murli.
First, I want to thank NASCOM.
Murli, go ahead. Murli, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thanks to NASCOM, this is a very good forum. At least we are able to share across a lot of thoughts across several domains. As of now, we see control domain, aerospace, and semiconductor nexus in a single panel. A lot of thoughts getting shared across, first to NASCOM and the initiative like this. And also, I would like to thank the leadership team that Micron representation was able to get in a slot for us here and have an opportunity for the organization to deliver the products. So the leadership team receives a big kudos, and also to the audience, right? So I feel there'll be a lot of insights coming in, a lot of thoughts flowing across, and their patience and what are the key takeaways that they're going to get through in this. That's going to be phenomenal. So thanks, audience, and also to the NASCOM team for setting this up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Murli. Siva?
Yeah, thanks, NASCOM. Wonderful platform. My comment would be, let's make it happen together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Siva. And I understand that you had to participate in another meeting, but final thoughts in 30 seconds.
Yeah, less than 30 seconds. Yeah, thanks, Karan and the NASCOM team. Awesome platform, well coordinated, and hope to see you more. And let's, like Shiva said, let's make it happen from India. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic day ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.